we're looking at all angles of the Surfside collapse. We're entering day 6 of the search for survivors in that condo collapse in southern Florida. 11 people are now confirmed to have died, while 150 people remain unaccounted for. The process of sifting and digging through the massive piles of rubble is slow and painstaking, but rescuers continue tirelessly to work around the clock in 12-hour shifts in hopes of finding even one person alive.
I think every moment's critical. This is why, we're working 12-hour shifts.
State Fire Marshal Jimmy Petronis stressing crews are using high-tech tools, scanning debris for signs of life, battling tiring conditions made even tougher by Mother Nature.
Every time it rains, it creates challenges. Lightning creates challenges. Shifting in the rubble makes challenges. If the rubble shifts, we stop, because you can't take a chance of the rubble shifting and harming somebody's life below.
We have people waiting and waiting and waiting for news that is excruciating. We have them coping with the news that they might not have their loved ones come out alive and still hope against hope that they will. They're learning that some of their loved ones will come out as body parts. I mean, this is the kind of information that is just excruciating for everyone.
Meanwhile, in April, just 2 months ago, the president of the Champlain Tower South Condominium Association sent a letter to residents warning their building was in desperate need of repairs. The letter, which was reviewed by the Wall Street Journal, urged residents to pay the $15 million in assessments needed to fix structural problems in the building. The condo board president wrote that the concrete damage to the building would, quote, multiply exponentially over the years, and indeed, the observable damage, such as in the garage, has gotten significantly worse over the years. According to the Journal, the letter was meant to explain to residents why construction projects on the 40-year-old building were worthy ahead of a meeting to discuss the proposed special assessment of $15 million, which was to be paid collectively by the residents. Joining us now from Surfside, Florida, NBC News correspondent Antonia Hilton. Antonia, good morning. It's good to see you. We can get into some of those questions about the warnings that were there from residents a couple of months ago. But what's the latest from the ground there in terms of search and rescue?
Good morning. The situation here is quite grim as we reach this 6th day. One more body was recovered as of yesterday evening, bringing the total to 11, but the number of unaccounted for is still 150 people, which has been really overwhelming for the community here just to face that number at the pace that the recovery is moving right now. As I've been speaking to people here in the community and to volunteers who have been on site at the rubble, what I've heard is that they are privately confiding that they're starting to lose hope that miracles are going to happen for them. I met a woman who lives about a block away from where I am right now, close to the North Tower, the twin tower to the one that collapsed the other day. And she told me that she's friends with a woman who lived in that tower, and she just at this point has no hope that her friend is going to be found alive at this stage. At points, things have gotten really tense here, and family members, loved ones of people who were living in that tower have at times yelled at officials in private meetings with them. They've been demanding accountability, answers about how this could possibly happen, and they've at times grown frustrated with the pace of this recovery. But it's really key for people to understand just how dangerous this rubble site is, the shifting debris, the fires, the smoke, the rain and wind that these rescuers have had to work through. And so there's tension here between the pace and the meticulousness of the work that they have to go through to be careful in the hopes of finding people who may be alive, and the reality of the emotional experience that the community and that these family members are having. They want answers and they want closure as fast as possible, but these workers have to work extremely carefully through unbelievable conditions right now. And it is just creating an excruciating environment here on day 6 of this search.
It is, and as you say, they brought in elite teams from around the world, from Israel, from Mexico, to join the search and rescue effort. Antonia, I was interested to see that some of the families of the victims were brought to the site up close to see the rubble and to see exactly with their own eyes what happened. What's the idea behind that, and what has that experience been like for those families?
That's right. So officials organized buses to bring family members right up to the site of the rubble. And the idea was to give them the chance to see how this rescue operation is actually working, to see the first responders on the rubble and experience and kind of get solace from watching all of that unfold. I spoke to one witness who saw this all in motion, and she was a bit conflicted about what this experience was actually like. What she described was seeing people just completely break down, unable to function as they took in what this site actually feels and smells like. One volunteer who's been working at the rubble site every day described it to me as the gates of hell. Those words have really stuck with me. And so, while the idea, I think, was to give families a chance to see how these rescuers are working, how complicated this has been, actually families witnessed one of the responders falling down 25 feet. And so I think they did take in the gravity of the situation there. It was also described to me as an extremely traumatic event that has also led some families to feel as though they need to begin the grieving process as they do lose hope that any of their family members could have survived under this heavy concrete and sheetrock over the last 6 days.
All right, NBC's Antonia Hilton on the scene there in Surfside, Florida for us. Antonia, thanks so much.